So let's talk about the latest research on some good news, longevity. We have not been getting the greatest news when it comes to health, but some recent research done by a super smart guy named Peter Diamandis, MIT graduate, Harvard graduate, New York Times bestseller. Encourage you to look him up. His latest passion project has been longevity and getting research done on living a longer life, and all the research is positive. For the really the first thing that he's discovered, and I think is very important, is about every single person should live into their 90s. There are some exceptions, if you have a genetic condition, but how the researchers put it, you will make it to your 90s as long as you don't die from something dumb. The things that could be dumb that we die from are cancer, heart disease, diabetes, lifestyle-related illnesses. So that was good news, that we know genetically we really are programmed to live into our 90s. This is important for me because I had kids a little later in life, in my mid-30s. I want to be there for them. Also, I want to be there for their kids and be able to experience that part of life for a long period of time. So longevity is important for me. Another aspect this is important is not that living to 90 is that exciting, but I've seen a lot of people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s that have lost their health, and it is not fun. It does not look fun. It is expensive. It takes a lot of time, resources, and energy to manage that. So that's really why we want to live to 95, because if you live to 95, you're not going to be sick in your 60s. You're not going to be sick in your 70s or your 80s. I want to hit the high notes, the highlights of the 4 basic building blocks for longevity that they've really have proven consistently make you live a longer life. And we're going to just give you the most important pieces of each of those. Number 1 is sleep. We have found that if humans could have evolved to sleep less, we would have done so. Sleep, you're vulnerable when you sleep. You're not productive when you sleep. So it makes sense that if we could have made it on 4 hours of sleep or 5 hours or 6 hours of sleep, we would have done so. That is not the case. We need 7 to 9 hours of sleep to live a long, healthy life. You can make it in life on 6 hours of sleep, but they're finding it is going to reduce your longevity capacity. Number 2 is exercise. And really the biggest component of exercise is how much muscle mass are you keeping later in life, in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. The more muscle mass you lose, the sooner you are going to pass away. We know this with grip strength and different studies on this. So you need to lift a heavy load. You need to do resistance training if you want to live a long time. Number 3 is nutrition. Not a rocket science with that, but the biggest aspect of nutrition that Peter Diamandis has found with the research is that you fast. You have some type of fasting protocol, whether it be intermittent fasting or fasting 1 day a week or fasting a week out of the year, but you need some type of fasting protocol to clear your body of the things that need to be cleared. You have a whole system in your body that is activated when you fast, and if you haven't fasted for 15 years, you're never gonna activate that system, and that's needed for longevity. And then number 4 is, what is your mindset about longevity? How long do you even want to live? One of the hardest conversations I have with patients is, maybe they're 50 and we talk about living to 90. They say they don't want to live to 90. And the reason being is a lot of the 90-year-olds and 80-year-olds that they have seen that are just kind of hanging on at the nursing home, I wouldn't want to have their life anyways, or as well. So we have to change how we view longevity, meaning I want to live and age gracefully into my 80s and 90s and be mentally there, be physically there. That is what I am committed to. What's also a neat concept is they believe that the medical technology will be there in the next 50 years, that if you can make it to 80 to 90, you may be able to make it to 100 or 110 or 120 or age even better with the new gene therapies and different longevity therapies that are really in their infancy right now, but that could be developed further. So we really want to make it as long as we can because we don't know how far medical technology is going to take us. These 4 principles, your mindset, your exercise, your nutrition, sleep, they can be practiced on a daily basis. I encourage you to think about your aging. How long do you want to live? And ultimately, why that is. Again, like I mentioned, for me is I would love to be a grandparent, and I would love to have that very cool experience that was given to me by my grandparents, and I would not want health to limit that. So hope this is helpful. Read up on Peter Diamandis. The things he's coming out with are very optimistic, some good news when we've only been hearing negative things about health. So live a long life.